Today, we join you to talk about the process of moving through. When something ends in your life, there's often a tendency to struggle to cut things cleanly. And what we are wanting to explain today is what that energetic process should actually look like versus what it often does. There are ways of ending things in the 3D. Things like hitting the block button or ghosting or removing yourself from the environment completely or not answering your phone, dodging emails, just simply deciding you're finished with that thing. But when you decide that you're finished with that thing, whether a cycle closes on you or you're the one closing the cycle structure, this does not equal moving through. What happens is, even though you've committed a closing action or been on the receiving end of a closing action in your world, moving through would involve you actually being able to move through the process. And what happens is that all of these emotions tangle, they pull down, there's a grieving process, but the thing is, there are loops. There are loops and there are hooks and there are cords, and they stay stuck. And sometimes your own repetition about needing closure keeps you stuck. And so what we invite you to do to move through is actually to let go. But what does it mean to let go? Letting go doesn't mean that you don't love that person. Letting go doesn't mean that you have no qualms about the process. Letting go doesn't mean that this process is finished exactly the way that it is. Letting go doesn't mean that you're cold, and letting go doesn't mean that you don't have forgiveness or love, or that there isn't a giant story attached to there, because we know that there is. Letting go means carrying both. I accept that this is the way things are, and I am not giving it my focus. That is how you cleanly move through. This channel has been asking in some of her own personal readings how to let go, because this channel is a Cancer and they don't let things go. Even when things are closed, they don't let things go. And we think that many people struggle with this because the situations are just too heavy. They're unfinished. They don't have closure. There's no understanding. And so it can be hard to move forward. But the thing is, you are at a great risk of so much energy loss and so much dis-ease when you carry something that is finished with you. Especially when you carry many things that are finished with you. We would liken this to carrying a bag of rocks everywhere you go. And every situation that you don't let finish cleanly, that you don't let move through, is another bag of rocks. And can you imagine how weighed down you would feel if you've got 4 bags of rocks, or 20 bags of rocks, or God forbid 50 bags of rocks, depending on the content of your life? Of course you can't swim. Of course you can't flow. Of course you can't move. You don't have the skill of moving through. How you move through, our channel has processes for this. Things like the weightless heart, this is a way you can move through. It's a way, and cord cuttings are a way that someone can move through, though nuanced and needing a lot of explanation, but rituals are a way that you can move through. Pouring the emotion into something is a way that you can move through. Surrender is a way that you can move through. But what you have to do is you have to do something with those bags of rocks. Every situation you haven't forgiven yourself for is a bag of rocks. Every situation that you've carried with you going, I've learned something from this, I have to hold on to it. Or situations you're still punishing yourself for, I have to hold on to it. It's a bag of rocks. These bags of rocks, understandably, could stop you from something like ascension, or stop you from something like higher access, or, opening your gifts further, or even bringing the good things into your life, because you can't hold two opposing vibrations at the same time. Let's look at friendship like a bag of rocks. Perhaps you might have friendships that have ended in a very difficult, hard to understand way that was out of your control. Perhaps there are some that you knew that you did not behave correctly. Perhaps there was all of these different circumstances, some good, some explainable, some bad. We'll paint a mixed picture. And someone new comes into your life that actually can give you everything you need. You can't let them in because the vibration of the bag of rocks is active. You can't let them in because you are holding two opposing frequencies. I am not a worthy friend. I am a worthy friend. We see this so much with relationships. So many of you that struggle with avoidance, this is actually what you're struggling with. You have 15 odd bags of rocks, and then somebody who actually won't hurt you comes into your life. I'm a bad boyfriend. I'm a bad girlfriend. I'm a good girlfriend. I'm a good boyfriend. These are where it can become very, very nuanced, because what you are holding on to is blocking what you are letting in. And we need to tell you, you don't need to fully close off everything in your life. What you need to do is move through. Allow yourself to let go of the emotions. Just allow yourself to let go of the weight. You don't need to solve. You don't need to resolve to let go of the weight. You just need to pour it out. Pour that weight out into something that can hold it. Whether it's a ritual where you pour the weight out into water, whether it's something like lemon and Epsom salts in a foot bath that you pour into, that you allow your energies to drain from, this would be fine. Whether it's pouring the energy into a candle so it's out of your body, that would be fine. What you need to do is be the closure that you do not have. What you need to do is agree to release something that feels unfinished, because you do not want to carry it anymore, because you cannot carry the weight. And when you do this, what you don't understand is so much will lift for you when you are not carrying 50 bags of rocks. And these emotions, they'll lift. This rumination, the lack of peace, it will lift. It will all lift. You may need to do this repeatedly in the case of grief. Our channel certainly knows enough about that. Where there's something that's an ongoing source, where there is no closure, pour out, pour out, pour out, move through. Move through. You are not responsible for carrying all of that emotion. Emotions are a signal. And if they can't be processed, your body holds on to them. Release them, process, move through. Releasing them allows you to understand the information they had for you. But right now, all of that information is clogged up like murky water, and you're expecting it to be clean water. It's not possible. It needs to go through a filtration process. You have to let it filtrate. You have to let it move through. And so we are inviting you to create processes in your life regularly. Some of you have years that you need to move through. And so many of you turn to healing practitioners to help you with this, and they can certainly help. But we would say it's likened to one small filter in an oil-spilled ocean. It's not strategic. It will help, especially when done regularly over a very long period of time. But what we would encourage you to do is find ways in your own life, processes that you can pour out. Because pouring out regularly, it will save your nervous system. It will also save you from sidestepping things that actually are healthy in your life when you recognize them. It will also save you from sabotaging the things that are trying to come in. So many of you are manifesting, I want new friendships, I want new relationships, and you've got 50 bags of rocks, and you are successful in manifesting those things, but the issue is you can't hold them or keep them or let them in. The answer is in the bag of rocks. So many of you like rocks. This should be a fun task for some, Our channel is She Loves Rocks. Perhaps that's why she has so many bags. However, what we are trying to say here is know that the weight you hold on to, the energetic qualities of that weight, are what keeps things looping in your life. It is a story, it is a narrative. I can't have good friendships. Look at all my bags of rocks. I remember every time I mess up a friendship because look at all my bags of rocks. I can't hold good family relationships because look at all my bags of rocks. I can't have good discussions because look at all the times I failed. To be ready to be something new is to release the bags of rocks even if they aren't solved. Is to understand the lessons they have for you and pour out the information, pour out the energy, pour out everything that it held, so you can take new things in that actually are a match for you. And you don't have to feed a story about how you are not good enough or not compatible enough or not enough in any way, because it wasn't you. It was just the rocks echoing that vibrational cycle, just looping. And so we invite you to find processes to release now, because you deserve to release. And to make it a regular priority to find either things like energy work, somatic release, anything that allows you to pour out. Art would be a great way of pouring out. We just want you to make it symbolic. You have to intend to pour out when you pour out. And we would invite, a great way to pour out is to name an emotion or name a situation, open your chakra system and just pour right down into Mother Earth. It's the easiest pre-programmed way your body has to pour out. You can use it to your advantage. You can imagine the situation like a big orange sticky liquid, and that liquid pulls down everything that is part of that situation and moves down through all the chakra systems and moves out. You could use an Epsom salt bath to pour out and imagine the salt absorbing it all. There are so many different ways you can use to pour out. We invite you to get creative and find one that works for you, but you don't need those bags of rocks anymore. You don't need these looping patterns anymore. What you need is a light heart. What you need is to know how to move through and let go, even when something is not closed and you have permission to do that. Move the emotions so you don't get stuck in the loop. And release what is not yours to hold, because those situations oftentimes have concluded. This can help you come to a place where you feel so much more free in your field and allow you to bring in the quality of things that you actually do deserve. Thank you. Wow.